Good morning, I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations, small businesses, and nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they are here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some new friends today. Imagine yourself standing on a field surrounded by colorful pavilions as banners flutter and snap overhead. Around you, richly dressed lords and ladies are watching knights in armor who battle with sword and shield. Music fills the air as minstrels play lutes and sing ballads of love and war. Are you in a dream? A historical romance? No, it's the Society for Creative Anachronism. The SCA is an immersive history group where you, dressed in clothing of the period, can experience tournaments, royal courts, feasts, and dancing, and learn how to recreate crafts and skills of the pre-17th century world. Unlike a Renaissance fair, SCA activities aren't just something you come to watch, they're something you actively do. And they happen more times a year than just the few months we get to go to the Renaissance fair. You'll learn all about the clothing of the period by tailoring and wearing outfits, learn about combat by putting on armor and competing against opponents, learn about brewing by making and sampling your own meads and ales. And there are many more subjects to learn about, including armoring, archery, cooking, heraldry, metalwork, music, dance, calligraphy, woodworking, and fiber arts. That's a lot. If it was done in the Middle Ages or the Renaissance, the odds are you'll find someone in the SCA interested in recreating it. And I found someone from the SCA, and he's quite interesting. Yes, because today I'm fortunate to speak with Baron Master Fergus DeBotha of the Society for Creative Anachronism. Master Fergus, Baron Master Fergus, welcome to Lifestyle.
Just Fergus is fine.
Okay, Fergus, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson. It's a pleasure.
It's great being here, Frank. I appreciate it.
An honor, in fact, to meet you. And he's dressed for success because you came all gilded head to toe. What are you wearing today?
Well, I'm wearing my coronet, which designates me as a baron. I'm wearing my medallion here, which designates me as a pelican, which is a peerage in the group itself.
Okay.
I've been in for about 35 years now.
35 years,
Yes.
the SCA. How long has this organization been around?
It's been around for 60 years coming up.
That's incredible.
It started in Berkeley, California in 1966 when a fantasy sci-fi group of students from the UC Berkeley got together and decided to have a fantasy party where they were going to have the knights fight for the honor of the ladies and have the ladies be celebrated. And it just went from there. And now, 60 years later, it's a worldwide organization, has about 60,000 members in it that are paid and participating, more participants than that right there. So it's actually it's huge.
It is bigger than I realized because I'm over at www.sca.org. And that's how it works, is that you got to find out where your kingdom is because you can join a kingdom. That's how you separate a lot of the regions of the organization into various parts of the United States and the world. What kingdom are we?
We are in the kingdom of Atenveldt.
Okay.
That's Atenveldt. And that is Gaelic for land of the sun. Which is appropriate considering where we are.
The old Sunshine Factory, that's the truth.
Yeah, it's actually, Atenveldt was the fourth kingdom that was actually born out of the SCA. And so many kingdoms have sprouted from Atenveldt over the years that now it's limited to basically the state of Arizona itself.
Okay.
That's it. That's the shape of the kingdom. So.
Amazing. That's because we have so many creative people here in Tucson. One of my favorite things about Tucson is the networking and, of course, the heraldry. But there's a lot of fun folks here, and they get together. I always give this analogy to a lot of my friends. So I used to work at Grill downtown, if you remember it, and then we would have this knitting group come in. These 17 ladies would come and knit, and they would get together, and I would think about where I grew up on Long Island. And I bet on Long Island there's probably 200 ladies that knit. But you know what? They can't get together because there's not as much community out there. There's too many people in the way. It takes 40 minutes to get anywhere. And I think that is some of the beauty of Tucson is it's the size, but also the creative people, that they're able to find one another and then get together and actually form a community that then grows and adds members and turns it from a small party into like the biggest party, which is amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
So I do want to ask you this. We got a little ahead of things because now we're already quickly talking about it, how you've talked about it to me for years because we're old friends. the SCA, the SCA. Oh, the SCA is upstairs at Comic-Con. Oh, the SCA is going to be at this event. And I'm like, right, the SCA, that thing you do. The Society for Creative Anachronism, that's what it is.
You have to admit, it is a mouthful.
It's quite a mouthful. What is an anachronism, sir?
An anachronism is something that's out of time. It's, for example, you go into a tomb in ancient Egypt and you find a Rolex watch.
Okay.
That's out of time.
Right.
That's and not trying to steal on any kind of Indiana Jones movie or anything like that.
I was
but anyway,
about to say, like when you're watching that Game of Thrones and there's a Starbucks cup there.
Exactly.
An anachronism.
Exactly. That's an anachronism right there.
Okay, fascinating. So, is the creative anachronism in a way for this, like, does it work in reverse? Like the fact that these medieval things are existing here in 2025 and the anachronism is us, the people dressed up this way that don't fit from time? Is that how it is?
It can. Just the looks I get going, because to me, the outfit that I'm wearing is normal to me, because, like I said, I've been doing it 35 years. Mm-hmm. And the thing is I'll dress up and go to an event, but I'll have to stop off at the grocery store and pick up all sorts of supplies and stuff like that, and all the chips and bagels and whatever and water I'm going to be using and everything like that. And the looks people give are, I know they're not, trying to be, they're not, they don't understand.
Well, I'm going to also add this. Okay, Mr. Fergus here, Fergus, sir.
Okay.
You're almost 7 foot tall. There's that. Okay, you're wearing a tunic.
I'm wearing a tunic, yes.
You got nice legs. All right, and also, you do have a strikingly similar resemblance to one St. Nicholas, Santa Claus.
Yes, but we won't mention him here.
No, certainly not. I'm just saying you happen to look like the fellow.
Excuse me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was just you happen to look like that fellow. All right. I actually interviewed one Santa Claus on Lifestyle Tucson. You can listen on demand. It was a very special Christmas episode this past year. One of the best episodes ever. But talking about the SCA and talking about what you're all about, that might be why you're getting funny looks while you're buying turnips over at Safeway.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to happen, but it's all worth it because you know what? I'm very fashion forward and I myself walk around in gold shoes, pajamas, and a cape half the time. So no one's there to judge. I get compliments left and right. I'm sure you get mostly compliments.
I get some compliments. I get a lot of stares.
Yeah, well, the people brave enough to approach.
But mostly when I do end up talking about it or anything, I just say that we're doing Middle Ages reenactment, and they're like, oh, okay, like the Renaissance Festival.
Right.
Yes, except we're a little bit different. Whereas at the Renaissance Festival, you go up there, you pay your money, and you go in, and you got the guy with the camera. Hey, baby, look at this. Click, 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 click. Uh-huh. Whereas we're audience participation.
Yeah. We
dress up in the things, and we do the things. And that includes the arts and sciences, anything they did back in Middle Ages, in medieval times, we do. We do the as you listed, that long list, of litany of things that we do. It's not just that, it's people learn from each other on how to do this, and these ancient arts that have been passed on and reinvented, and things that are actually would be a dream for anybody trying to start a society over. It would be
timely,
extremely timely.
Let's hope we're not headed to that. But yes, I'm sure being able to sew buttons might help if it all comes crashing down.
How about make buttons? How about use pewter to cast buttons?
Ooh.
How about being able to I'll tell you a story.
Tell me, please.
Okay, I'll tell you a story. I had a young lady friend of mine who asked for a donation from me to help her with a arts project she had. Mm-hmm. She went out and bought a sheep.
Okay.
She bought a sheep. She took the sheep. She raised the sheep. She sheared the sheep. She used a drop spindle to weave the wool into threads. She then wove the threads together. Then she turned around and dyed the threads. And this is where the donation came in, because back in the day, one of the things they used to set dyes was human urine.
Oh, good Lord.
I know.
We're not allowed to talk about some of this on the radio, but keep going.
Okay. Anyway, what happened was I made a donation. She dyed it and everything like that. And she went from a ba sheep to a full Tudor Elizabethan gown in something like 8 months and sold it to a museum in California for like $6,000. She paid $150 for the sheep.
Well, that's fascinating. Well, I'm sure she fed the sheep and took care of the sheep.
She did gold filigree on the thing. She spun the gold into thread to be able to sew it into the fabric. Anyone who's ever seen the Royal Shakespeare Company and their productions, and you see the outfits they have that are just huge and glorious and everything like that. She did that in 8 months, just in her spare time.
That's incredible.
And it was just seeing it along the way. I would go over and see it at her house, and this was like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And just it boggles the mind seeing what can happen. She was casting the buttons. She was building the outfit, and it was just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. She had it to where it was like a yellow with a crisscross pattern on the bodice and just a flowing fleur-de-lis pattern on the thing, which is not easy to build and make with trim with and everything like that. But she did it. Well, I don't have that level of confidence or anything in the arts and sciences. I'm a guy that goes out and preps the events and gets us a place to where we can have the events. But for the most part, it's just amazing seeing some of these people work and what they do.
Well, artisans are incredible. And again, that's really amazing. I mean, I'm sure it was yellow based on what you told us. Good heavens.
Yeah.
But
Sorry about that.
That flowing as well. But that's the point, is that is an amazing one of one, incredible use of skill, talent, bringing things from the past. What's the sheep's name?
Unfortunately, at the party afterwards, he was... we called him Dinner.
Oh, my goodness.
Well,
it's a good thing that we'll just call him Chops. That was his name.
Yeah.
So that's incredible and really blows my mind to hear about it. And these are some of the friends that you yourself can make if you get involved with the Society for Creative Anachronism, because the SCA is all about you. That's what he's trying to say here. It's not about going to medieval times. You can't jump on a horse and get involved there. You can't go jousting there. And in fact, I was a little too insulting to the insulter. They threw me right out. You're not even allowed to go do that. When you get involved with the SCA, you can start doing some of these things and make friends with folks doing this sort of stuff. Also, it reminds me of, what's the term that Comic-Con uses when they do battle recreations and get together and it's more Dungeons and Dragons-y? What do they call it?
Well, the thing is that they have different groups that have sprung up over the years. And besides Civil War reenactment groups, we're the oldest.
Right.
The SCA is the oldest. We're coming up on 60 years. We all love history. We all do the fighting. We all do the pomp and circumstance. We have the courts. We have anything and everything there is to know about the medieval times.
No, it's just having fun. It's a big fun party, kind of celebrating the fun, the arts, the style, obviously the music, the style of dance. There's a lot of creativity when it comes to the past, and that's what it is. Probably even some of the instruments, too. Do you have any fun people that play the lute?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
We have several. We got one named Viscount Stefan, who plays, he's a former music teacher, as a matter of fact, and he was in the Kingdom of Drachenwald, which is Europe, and he was a music teacher, so he taught himself how to play the recorder, the lute, the organ. He's even got a small little spinneret, that he brings out to events and plays. So it's incredible because you know all of a sudden he'll just set up this little box and all of a sudden you start hearing the ding 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 ding, and it's just amazing. I mean,
it brings you right to it.
Yeah.
So the thing I was thinking about from Comic-Con before, live action role play, it's LARPing. So that's like the term that you'll see that some people will do this, and you've even seen it in movies now, where it's a thing where a bunch of fun kids get together, and you could do Star Wars LARPing because it's still swords and battling. You could do Comic-Con. Pokemon Go, in a way, is LARPing because people will dress up as Pokemon and go out and do it, or they'll dress up as the trainers and go out and do it.
Well, the thing is that the majority of the SCA are people who are science fiction and fantasy fans.
Yeah.
And that covers a large part of the population that people don't realize it. You know, let that geek flag fly high.
Yep.
Because, for example, at our one of our big events, we just had the War of the Phoenix this past February. We had a fellow who was going to be promoted to a master of defense, which is using rapier as a martial art, and he was really basically recognized for how well he did with it. And he had a party where there were snacks served, and there were lightsaber battles, and there were songs being sung and everything like that around a campfire, and just had a good old time. The kids loved it. They were over there just going like, have at thee.
So, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, these styles of groups are what I'm always trying to get people. I'm a bit of an evangelist here on Lifestyle Tucson. I'm always trying to guilt people into getting involved and volunteering, helping out, and just going out, because volunteering is how you make friends. But this is one of those groups where it is just like, it's about going to party. Like, it's about volunteering to just be a part of setting up these fun events, or just participating, going, showing what a great artist or person you are when it comes to sword play, when it comes to costuming, when it comes to being a musician of the old-fashioned sort, maybe playing a harp or a lute.
If you're worried about looking ridiculous, this is not the group for you.
Certainly
I'll
not.
tell you that right there.
Okay.
But at the same time, a lot of people, when they do this right here, they don't look ridiculous because they put the time and the effort into the outfits, the time and the effort into the mannerisms they do. And it looks like somebody stepped out of Walter Riley painting, just like there.
Well, it's elegant.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
even what you're wearing today, there's an elegance to it. It's not fashion of the past, all that. It's glorious. Even how you described her making that dress. I was on the edge of my seat there, smelting buttons. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's the point. Like, it's just a hobby too. It's a fun hobby. I try to get people to have
It's a hobby
creative.
of hobbies.
There you go.
Is the thing is.
Yes.
And basically you have one person in the beginning that you meet called the chatelaine or the hospitaller, and they are your guide to where you're going to. It's basically they walk up to you and say, Alice, what rabbit hole do you want to go down first?
Oh, fun.
And you tell them that I'm interested in this right here. I'm interested in this right here. And they'll say like, okay, we'll go set you up with this person over here. They'll teach you how to do this. Set you up with this person over here. They'll teach you how to do this. And oh my goodness, how much is it going to cost me? Free. There are membership fees, but that's it basically gives you discounted admission to different events, is all the membership fees do. And it also covers you with insurance, liability insurance, so that if something, God forbid, does happen, you're covered.
That's true. We are playing with swords. You're right.
Well, we're actually playing with different types of swords, but I'll get into that later.
Obviously there's various swords. I heard you say rapier a moment ago. Okay,
Yeah.
so yes, various swords, various different methods of defense. Is there a mace?
Yes, there is
Exactly,
actually.
and not the spray kind, right? It's on a chain.
Yes.
So let's quickly talk about the membership, because there is it an annual membership to be a part of a kingdom?
It is an annual membership to be
Right.
part of the SCA entirety, and it's there's also a family membership.
Yes.
fee.
So it looks like that there's a bunch. I'll run through them quick. There's a membership. It's $55. So for the less than the price of a PlayStation game, come hang out all year at all these amazing fun events. And you also get the opportunity to maybe do it if you're an international person listening to the show. It just costs $1 more. Or if you want to be an associate membership, that is one where it is available to residents of the U.S. and other countries. That associate members, they cannot add family members to the purchase print subscriptions. Of course you can't. That's why it's only $40. But if you got a big fun family, well, guess what? It's $15 a piece. You can purchase that right there. The first 3 family members are all capped at $45, something like that. Get all the details over on the website, because I'm throwing numbers at you, right? No one's writing this down with a pencil, because you should take notes, but you don't need to right now. I'll recap all of this a little slower at the end, but make sure that you know that it just costs a little bit to get involved with this organization. And then they've got a list of all their events throughout the entire year right up on the website. So you can pick and plan and start getting involved, because it sounds like there's a bunch of different styles of events to attend throughout the year.
Yes, there are so many different events. We have, I'm just going to run through just a few of them. We have Dragon's Horde, where it's you get to fight a dragon. If you're
How?
It's easy. What you do is you take 6 fighters and tether them together with a special harness that does not allow them to move separately and individually, and that's the dragon.
Okay.
And then one person goes in against 6. And yes, people have won against the dragon before.
Is it
takes
like-
skill and prowess like you wouldn't believe, and
Yeah.
a whole lot of luck, but it can be done.
So, but walk me through it. Walk me
Okay.
through it. So now here I am, and I'm facing against these 6 individuals that represent the dragon. Is it like role play? Do I take a turn, or are we just having at it?
In this case, what they do is this is what's known as armored combat or hard suit in short term. It's armored. Everyone is armored from head to toe, and all the main portions are covered: head, neck, elbows, knees, groin, feet, and hands are all covered. That's minimum armor requirements. Now, people do a lot more where they do like a coat of plate on their chest or spalders on their shoulders and just basically look like, Tin Man.
Yeah.
And walking out there. And what it is at our groups, we have loaner armor at the different fighter practices. And
oh, cool.
you can
okay.
actually, if you bring a cup, we'll suit you up.
Nice.
That's how we do it. That's exactly how we do it.
Let me tell you, I got a disco style cod piece at the Renaissance Fair. So I'm ready.
If it'll take a blow, then it's yes.
Yes, I'm ready to fight. I also have chainmail. I have the chainmail headpiece that I wear from time to time. You got to protect that dome.
Yeah. And what it is the outfit itself, the armor, protects them from the source of a blow. Now, the swords we use for armored combat or hard suit is a type of bamboo called rattan, which doesn't splinter when it breaks.
Okay.
It actually turns to powder.
Wow.
And you have to wail on that sucker for a while. But anyway, we wrap that in duct tape and filament tape, and they use it basically as a baseball bat.
Okay.
But it's done with finesse, and you go out there, and if you kill the head, getting back to the dragon, if you kill the head of the dragon, you win.
Yeah, I mean,
you've killed the dragon.
Okay.
But other people will like run around and hit the legs, and if the thing is each fighter is trained what is good and bad. It's like when you're a kid playing cops and robbers and you go, bang, I got you. And in this case, the kid goes, yeah, you did. That was a great shot. Instead of, no, you didn't. Ha, ha, ha.
Sure.
But
tag. Kids respect tag.
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
That. Yeah.
Exactly. And what it is we go around. If you hit the arm, you lose the use of the arm. If you hit the leg, you lose the use of the leg. If anything from the head to the groin, that's a kill shot. You're done. And
can the dragon throw fire? How does it throw fire?
Don't tell them that. They might do it.
Oh, come on.
No, they don't have fire per se.
So we got to give them like 3 dodgeballs.
But there are several things that I've seen a rapier tournament before.
Yeah.
Which is it's a type of that they do use a live steel. It's called a Schlager blade, which is long and doesn't have an edge to it, and they have a cap on the end of it taped onto it.
Okay.
And again, the same principle: hit the arm, lose the arm; hit the leg, lose the leg.
Sure.
Anything head to groin is kill shot. But it's draw cuts, pull cuts, tip cuts, and slices.
Okay.
Or lunges.
Yeah, because again, I've seen this. I know what you're describing. I've been to the Renaissance Fair. I've been to a few different other events that have this sort of thing.
But the thing is that they have it different things where you're standing in the Fighting Eric, and they call that after Eric the Red, who was the guy who invented the fence that protects us from the people. And you have a marshal who's the one designed to, he doesn't judge the fights. He sees if there's anything unsafe and calls the fights when there are. But you have one marshal over there who had these red handkerchiefs and was throwing it around. And the scenario was, you're on top of a burning building. And while you're fighting and everything like that, the building's burning down, those red handkerchiefs represent flames shooting through the roof that you're standing on.
Okay.
So if you step on those, you fall through and die.
Wow.
Automatically. So not only do you have to fight your opponent, but you also have to fight against the elements and the surroundings and everything like that, and keep track of everything that's going on. And it's creative. It gets the juices flowing, and it gets the fighters who's, everybody's used to going like, ting, 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 ting. Okay, yeah, I'm bored. But it gives them something new to grasp hold of while they're trying to do their martial art. And it is a martial art in both forms. And they just do amazingly how they adapt to it, and the showmanship. And we have prizes for best death on the field. Yes. And they work it up. I saw a scene from they actually worked in a scene from Hamlet into the death scene. And it was
Wow.
like the guy was on the ground and he was going, to be or not to be. But it was beautiful the way he did it. So,
That's so funny. I love groups like this because it's fun, even when you just sit there, like, to just kind of be a big nerd for literature and to love all this stuff and to enjoy it. And again, I used tag as an analogy, but also the floor is lava works too.
Yeah.
So it's really fun how, like, it's just about being able to grow up but still play pretend and use skill, which is exciting as well in all of these forms. And there's a lot of skill to weaponry and all this handling and stuff. I love it. I love medieval times as well. I love the Ren Fair. I love that this is something that goes all year, all the time, and it's something we can really enjoy. Let's, like, when are some of the next big events just throughout the year that people can look to attend? I mean, look at this. It looks like you've got events listed through 2030 on the website. I don't know if that could be correct, but there's a tab for it. That's insane.
Well, we just had War of the Phoenix, and then in Lumberton, Mississippi, we've got Gulf Wars coming up on March 8th to the 16th, but by the time this airs, it probably will have already passed.
Yeah, and we're not in Mississippi. Like, it also looks like Sweden. There's a big event. There's one in Missouri. So that's what this list is. It's listing all of them around the world.
Yes.
That's exciting. When is the next one? How can I find the next one that is in our kingdom?
That is local. You go to atenveldt.org, which
You're
is
gonna have to spell that.
ATENVELDT. You go to the calendar page, and it'll tell you anything and everything that's going on.
Welcome to our solar kingdom. This is
that's
gorgeous.
That's our king and queen right there.
Okay.
We've got crown tournament coming up. We choose our king and queen by right of arms.
Okay, what does that
They
mean?
have to fight for it.
Wow.
In a grand tournament. And whoever's the last one left standing is declared to be the prince or princess or whoever their consort is. They rule for 3 months, and then they step up as king and queen. And then 3 months later, there's another crown tournament, and the new prince and princess comes up. They rule with the king and queen for 3 months, and then the whole thing starts all over again.
That's amazing.
And we've got people that keep things running. They're called officers, which we have one called the seneschal, which is the club president or chapter president. And they're the ones that make sure that we're in compliance with insurance and other type of legal ease, and that we can get events that are, our motto is we leave the site cleaner than we found it, because that way we get to go back.
Well, that's always good policy.
You use the areas and everything.
Yeah,
but,
clean up after yourselves. It looks like one big event coming up in May is the Spring Coronation from May 2nd to the 4th. Is this real?
That is real.
Oh, man, that looks like it's in St. David.
That is going to be in St. David, and it's going to be at the Holy Trinity Monastery Center. Oh, my goodness. They got pomp and circumstance, and the main thing is going to be what's known as court.
Okay.
Where everybody comes in, the banners are flying, they're going, oh yeah, my lords and ladies, pray attend, come forth, come forth. And
I love that voice all day. Let's redo this whole interview like that.
But it's that's a herald voice right there. But I muted it a little bit for the radio because I don't want to blast out the microphone. Because when you do actual heraldry, you're doing it from the diaphragm and out loud and to where people can hear you, because they didn't have stereo back then.
Certainly
unless
not.
you had two people saying at the same time, and that was rough to do. But then you got they do a big thing where the king and queen who are currently there thank all the people that helped them run the reign and give awards to people. And there are different awards for fighting, for service, for arts that you've done really, really well. And it's basically people put you in for these chookies as you go down the way. And it's people recognize that, yes, this person's doing a great job doing this. Okay, let's give them an award. The prince or princess comes in and says, yes, women have won on Crown Tournament before by their own hand.
I believe it.
And they say that, sire, it's time for you to pass on and for us to do the thing. And sometimes they fake their own death. Sometimes they walk out. Sometimes there's a coup and they take over the castle. It just depends on what kind of theater they want to do to show the group.
Yeah.
And then the king, Atenveldt's a little different in that the king crowns himself or the queen crowns herself,
Okay.
depending on who wins. Once that's done, then they bring in everybody and get their honor guard in place, and then more awards, more fun, more singing, more dancing, and feast afterwards, and just having a good time. And the thing about this coronation that's different, it's a camping event.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be going from Friday night until Sunday day with all this going on.
That's a riot.
So it's pretty wild.
My goodness.
And there was another one on here that had events that are going on. There's actually groups all over the state.
Mm-hmm.
We have something like 7 baronies in Sierra Vista, Chandler, Goodyear, Scottsdale, here in Tucson. The Tucson group here is the barony of Tir-Yiskithir. Don't even try and pronounce it.
I won't.
Don't even try and pronounce it, because it's the closest we get to it is tell people just to say Triscuits and beer. But it's
I was going to say that name again.
Tir-Yiskithir.
Gesundheit.
And if you put it into Google Translate, it'll put it in there and it'll say Tusk Land.
Oh.
Tusk, because back in 1973, when the group was formed, all they had was the University of Arizona, Speedway Boulevard, and just tons and tons and tons of javelina.
Okay.
So the javelina became the mascot, the boar, and
Oh, wow.
and that's why it's called Tuskland. So, and it also sounds a little bit like Tucson,
It does,
Tuskland.
which is funny.
So, but we call it Tir-Yiskithir, and it's like I said, it's Welsh, is where that comes from. So there's also another group that I am very, very attached to here in town at the University of Arizona.
All right.
Okay. Each group is a little different depending on what geographic area it is. You have a barony, which is basically the size of a city. You have a canton, which is town or something like that, or a shire that's a small town and everything. But then you get a group called a college. And this right here is, they just celebrated their 25th anniversary of being around, is the College of St. Felix. Now, why do they call it College of St. Felix? Because think back to the 30s and 40s. Who was the wildest cat around?
Is it Felix the cat?
It was Felix the cat. And as a result, the Wildcats, Felix the cat, and it's the College of St. Felix. And they're going to be having a tournament where they have an evil overlord called Sir Sable.
Yeah.
And heraldically is sable is the color black, or fur colored black. But Sir Sable, or the Black Knight, represents everything that pushes the students more and more and more. Like they can't go out and play because they have to work on their book report or their research paper. They have to work the weird jobs. They have to eat the ramen and all that stuff. All the evil that befalls students. That's Sir Sable's fault.
Hysterical.
And he runs them into the salt mines and trying to find gems and stuff like that. And there's a whole history behind it.
So a big important date this week, April 5th. It's Saturday. Tell me what's going on.
So what we have is going to be on the U of A Mall for the first time ever.
Okay.
And what they're going to do is they're going to have Sir Sable go up against all comers. But first, they have to go what's known as a bear pit.
Okay.
What that is you're familiar with, some of the younger people listening won't know about this, but you're familiar with Thunderdome?
Oh, yes. Even beyond Thunderdome.
Beyond Thunderdome, 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's what a bear pit is.
Okay.
Is whoever, they've got a bear in the pit. Well, it's actually a fighter, and they fight and fight and fight and fight and fight. And whoever is left standing, the one who loses gets out, and the person inside of it becomes the bear.
Okay.
And they fight this way all day long.
Wow.
And the one with the most wins at the end of this right here gets to face Sir Sable.
That's interesting.
So, and
I love lore. Like I'm already on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. And the thing is that Baron Jorgen, who's the Baron of Tir-Yiskithir, they got a grudge match going on.
Yeah.
They've got, because Jorgen beat him last time, but it's just like Sir Sable gets over there and just talks smack as much as he humanly possibly can about, how, you're going down, Jorgen, and all of our Discord feeds and all of our Facebook feeds are basically just like infighting going, it says, you're going down.
I love it. Well, that's because this time it's
Personal. Yes.
That is amazing. All right. Give me one call to action just to everyone on why they should get involved, and then we're wrapping it up.
Okay.
Like just from the heart, like why should people get involved with the SCA?
Because each weekend all over the country and the world, thousands of people don the trappings of damsels and armored knights and transform their everyday surroundings into splendid encampments full of grand pavilions with banners waving high in the breeze, and leave the modern day behind in favor of pageantry and chivalry of the days of yore. It's all about the chivalry, all about the honor, the courtesy, the camaraderie. We used to be able to say without those annoying plagues, but COVID, who knew? So it's learning, it's growing as a person, becoming, in the dictionary, they say a Renaissance person is someone who knows a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
We strive to be Renaissance people and know a little bit of everything. I've done things over the years that I can't even describe. I've made pewter keys. I've done card weaving. I've made trim for dresses and everything. My wife still wears her trim today. It's nice. People get married. I got married in the SCA.
Wow.
23 years ago, this last February. And it was amazing because we had a sword arch and we had 16 guardsmen, including one carrying, and this is where the anachronism comes in, a Klingon bat'leth was used.
Kapla!
Yes.
For honor.
For honor and glory. And it was great because we had 16 people around there, and my wife to be at the time was kind of worried about whether or not someone was going to say, if someone knows what just cause, well, these two should not be. And she was like, no, that's not going to happen. Not at my wedding. So what we did was we had the pastor look at us and say, he nodded his head when we came to that part of the ceremony, and I nodded to my best man, or in this case, woman, Countess Sorolta, and she said, guard, post, and they formed a circle around us and said, at the ready, all the swords came out, and they formed a hedgehog around us made up of swords.
Wow.
And then she looked at me, nodded. I looked at him, nodded. And he says, if anyone has just cause, well, these two should not be joined in holy matrimony. Let them speak now or forever hold their peaces.
Oh, that's hysterical.
No, the funny thing is you get the laughter of the audience and everything like that.
Yeah.
Laughter, 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 laughter. There was a dog there. His name was Czar. He was a bull mastiff, most tender, sweetest being you've ever met on your entire world. Kids would fall asleep on this kid. Mm-hmm. And had it to where Czar was over there and everybody laughed and everything and got done. And then all of a sudden at the end, you heard this. You know it's funny when the dog laughs.
Yeah, right? That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh, my goodness. You're the best. All right. I got to say, if I've got a call to action, just to sum it up for everybody, here's the one word: fun. This was fun. You're one of the most fun people I know. And honestly, anyone should get involved in this organization because I want all of you to have as much fun as not just this man has, but I have, enjoying all of the fun stuff that we do love when it comes to being a nerd, being a person who loves literature, caring about the past, and I don't know, just kind of loving what you love and doing it with other people and getting involved in the community.
When was the last time you were able to use a Shakespeare sonnet in a conversation?
It's true. And you know what else is true? That today, we all made friends with Baron Master Fergus DeBotha of the Society for Creative Anachronism. The SCA, an inclusive community pursuing research and recreation of pre-17th century skills, arts, combat, and culture as they gain knowledge of history through activities, demonstrations, and events. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I had fun, which is, as I tell people in the SCA, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right.
That's right. This was Lifestyle Tucson. Bing bong bing, time for a recap. What an excellent episode going the distance. Talking to Fergus, my man, old friend, and I love talking about what my old friends do and really actually learning all about it. Because he's talked to me about the SCA many, many times, but not really as obviously in depth as all of this. So if you want to get more in depth on it, obviously go to SCA.org and go follow them over on Instagram at SCA Social, I believe is their at, or at least Instagram.com/SCA Social is how you'll find them. Go find out the local things going on at Atenveldt.org, ATENVELDT, as well as welcome.sca.org might find you some information there. As well, get involved, learn how to smelt something, and make sure that your heraldry is tip-top. I want to thank our old-timey friends at the SCA for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Audible, or wherever fine podcasts are honorable. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Lifestyle Tucson, because I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers, and toot toot Tucson. I love you the most.